I recently played. This is the Pierce defense, and everything is normal so far. This move is not a very good move because I trade pawns and take their queen, and then their knight has to move back, and my knight moves forward, or else they lose a pawn. Now, if they don't take with the knight, I'm going to land a fork on g4. And now my knight moves forward, so this is an advantage for me. They attack my knight, and I defend it and attack their piece. Now I'm attacking their pawn. They defend it. I attack it again and develop. They defend it and develop. And then I develop and attack one of their pieces, defending the pawn. So I think I'm going to win that pawn. So here I noticed that there's pieces attacking my f7 square, 2 of them. And if I could still take the pawn, but I don't want to lose a pawn. So I castle. And this I was very happy to see because it's such a beginner mistake because they lose 2 minor pieces in the beginning of the game for a rook and a pawn. So I have an advantage here. They castle, and I take that free pawn. I move my bishop back and attack their pawn. That's a nice move. They defend it, and they get their knight off the 8th rank. I develop my rook because I need to. And I'm okay with this trade because it brings a pawn to the center. And I put my rook on the 7th rank. Now here, my idea is to move my knight to f3 and put it on this nice outpost here. And then I'll be completely winning the game. I want to keep my outpost, so I defend it with e6. I trade. And I didn't actually need to... Oh, yeah, I did need to do that. Yeah, that was a good move. So I'm keeping the rook off of the penetrating. And now, this move was a mistake. And the reason is because this is an undefended piece, and this is a loose piece. So they could trade and then fork my 2 pieces. And I would lose a pawn, and I would lose my advantage. And they didn't see that, though. But either way, I was going to get my knight to here one way or the other. I should have landed on the f6 square first, and then jumped in. So here I am. I don't know why I played b6. They're attacking my pawn. I defend it. I'm attacking their pawns, and I want their rook to be passive, and they also can't move to b1 because I'll fork them here. Now, they penetrate, and I had to think a lot here, and I realized I can get away with taking a pawn because my knight can jump back. And I have to defend my pawn. I have to defend my knight. And here I have to defend my pawn again, and I didn't want to have a draw by repetition. And I had to think for a little while, and I came up with a sneaky knight check. And now, interestingly, the rook is completely trapped because these 4 squares are controlled by the knight, and these 4 squares are controlled by the knights too, and the king can't get in. He dropped a pawn. I start pushing my passed pawn. And here, I could take with the free pawn because I think he wants to sacrifice the pawn so my knight moves so he can get out. But I realized he can't get out because my king controls a lot of squares too. So he goes back, and my knight jumps back. So that was a free pawn. And now my king can go anywhere it wants and gobble up everything. I submitted this game because I thought this was an incredible trap. I've never seen anything like it before. 2 minor pieces completely dominating a rook and trapping it on the 8th rank. And so my king just gets all the pawns. Now, I moved down here because I don't want the rook to get to h8 while I push my pawn. And here, I needed to undo my blockade. And I don't care about that knight. I care about getting a queen. I think these are just spite checks, and I block with my knight, which was nice. And he really has nothing to do here. I'm getting another queen. If he takes that queen, it's going to be checkmate. If he takes it, I'll promote to a queen with checkmate. And that was the end of the game. I just wanted to share, yeah, that rook trap was interesting for me to learn from.